That breaking news overnight, a man is dead after an hours-long standoff with law enforcement in Englewood. Our Brianna Fernandez is live in the neighborhood where this all happened near Broadway in Oxford. Brianna, what more have you learned?
Hey, good morning, Jordan. So we know this all started yesterday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 in the afternoon. The Denver Police Department was executing a high-risk search warrant. So that's when they called in the Englewood Police Department, and it just turned into a dangerous situation with shots being fired back and forth. People even had to evacuate their homes. And now that the sun's coming up, I am seeing that the road is still closed. There's still caution tape here, and no one can get in and out. Now, this was a scene late last night when our crews arrived. You're taking a look at that video right now. Englewood police say that officers tried to negotiate with the suspect for hours. Police say the suspect didn't surrender, instead continued to fire shots, even striking one of their armored vehicles. Officers then used one of those vehicles to break down the garage door. The suspect started firing, and that's when it just turned into a shootout with officers. We spoke to a neighbor who heard it all. Take a listen.
I did at one point think that it might have been fireworks, the way that the sounds came. And as the day progressed, sat out here, and then about another 2 hours went by, and then we heard another barrage of shots.
Now, we know this standoff continued late last night. The suspect died on the scene, and now per policy, the critical incident team will investigate the use of force. Jordan?
Yeah, a scary situation in that area. Brianna, we'll check back in with you for more details later. Thank you.
New overnight, a man is dead after falling while climbing in Rock Park in Castle Rock. Rescue crews say the call came in around 8 last night. People nearby say they saw him fall, but it's not clear yet how. Castle Rock police is investigating. This
morning, we're learning more about what happened in the moments before a Fountain police officer fell to his death during a chase. New details from the arrest affidavit for Devin Bobian showed the coroner said the officer's death was an accident, but Bobian is still facing murder charges. Officer Julian Becerra was one of several officers chasing a group of people in a stolen car back in February. The affidavit says they stopped Bobian on a bridge. Investigators say Officer Becerra got out of his car and was pinned between his car and the guardrail. That's when they say Bobian got out of his car and tried to run away by jumping on the roof of Becerra's patrol car. Investigators say Bobian leaned over Officer Becerra and pointed at him. Then Becerra fell off the bridge. He died in the hospital more than a week later. Bobian is facing charges for second-degree murder, among other crimes.
Today, you'll be able to pay respects to the victims of the Aurora Theater shooting. Tomorrow marks 11 years since that day, and the 720 Memorial Foundation is holding events in the Waterwise Garden in honor of the victims. People are welcome to pay their respects at the garden and memorial. White crosses will be placed there after 4 o'clock this afternoon. There will be a vigil at midnight at the garden, and then Saturday is going to be filled with events like a 5K, wellness boost, and beer tasting fundraisers.
Denver is now in a state of emergency because of homelessness. The city's new mayor made that declaration on his second day on the job. Mayor Mike Johnson says that will help reach his goal of getting 1,000 people off the streets and into housing by the end of the year. That's about 75% of the people who live on the street and have nowhere to stay at night.
This entire focus is on people who are living outdoors, who are unsheltered, who are in encampments, who we think are at the greatest risk to themselves, and that we think pose a real opportunity for them to get back on their feet.
Johnson's emergency declaration means people who work in housing, homelessness outreach, and public health will all be working together in the city's emergency operations center. Johnson's team says the declaration will also speed up the permitting process for new city-owned housing. The former head of the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless told us they tried to get the Hancock administration to take similar steps.
For years, we could not get our public officials to really make homelessness a priority. It was always an afterthought.
John Provinsky says when San Diego declared a state of emergency for a hepatitis outbreak and full shelters back in 2017, advocates in Denver wanted Mayor Hancock to do the same. He never did. The now former mayor didn't get back to us about why. His former spokesperson told us that Hancock is on vacation. Johnson is planning to appoint 10 people to work on solutions. They will be stationed in the Joint Information Center starting next week.
It's 6:06 right now. Almost 27 years after rapper Tupac Shakur died, there is a new development in the case. Police in Las Vegas served a search warrant related to the drive-by shooting that killed Tupac. He was shot multiple times while leaving a boxing match at the MGM Grand in Vegas. Tupac was in a car with the former CEO of Death Row Records. Back then, authorities say they think that he was targeted in the shooting, but the case was never solved. There aren't many details about this new warrant. Police will only say it happened in the nearby city of Henderson.
Former President Donald Trump will likely not face trial this year in the classified documents case. Prosecutors have been pushing for a start date in mid-December, but yesterday the judge suggested that likely won't happen. Trump's team wants to wait until after the election cycle, saying it will be too hard to find a fair jury and it will disrupt his campaigning. The judge says that's not the reason for the pushing the start date into next year. She says it's because the case is complicated and will likely take more time to prepare for. She still has not decided on a date, but it will likely be before the election next November.
And taking a live look at the White House right now, thousands of Coloradans are about to have their student loans forgiven thanks to a new plan from the Biden administration. 15,000 Coloradans will have their loans forgiven. That's only about 5% of the people who would have been covered under the original plan. In that case, 295,000 Coloradans would have gotten relief. But the Supreme Court blocked that first plan. Instead, the Biden administration is fixing clerical errors that meant people on income-driven repayment plans didn't get credit for some payments. They'd earned loan forgiveness already, but the government's records just didn't reflect it. The Department of Education already started reaching out to people who will automatically have their debt canceled.
There's a new push to stop robocalls from reaching your phone by targeting the people who sell your phone number. Investigators from Colorado and across the country are going after telemarketers making illegal robocalls along with the phone providers that carry the calls. Investigators are trying to crack down on people who collect your personal info to share it with robocallers. They say companies trick people into sharing information by offering free rewards or job interviews. Then they sell your info to telemarketers. The Federal Trade Coalition already identified 4 companies responsible for making millions of calls and fined them $17 million. A pretty big update this morning. The beef over Taco Tuesday is over.
Right. Taco John's is just giving up its trademark because it doesn't want to pay to fight Taco Bell. Taco John's has owned Taco Tuesday for decades. Back in May, Taco Bell asked federal regulators to step in and take the trademark away, arguing keeping people from using the term is like, quote, depriving the world of sunshine itself. It's very dramatic. Taco John says it didn't want to pay lawyers millions to take on Taco Bell, so it's just giving up the trademark.
And something you know about your Taco Wednesday weather here. We have a temperature going for 89 degrees today. That's a little bit below the normal high of 91 degrees. Normal low is 61. The record 101 from 2019. And the record low is way back in 1897. That was 48 degrees.